Very good morning. Welcome to the Civil Service Examination webinar series brought to you by Kingmakers IAS Academy. I am Bhuminathan, Chairman cum Managing Director, Kingmakers IAS Academy. Well, already you have attended almost 9 webinar series in which we have discussed about various uh, dimension of the UPSC. Initially, we discussed all about the civil services. Then we had a discussion about the resources for the civil services. And later on again we discussed on how to choose the optional subject. Then we discussed how to conquer in your first attempts. And the last week also we had a session on various other topics. Today this is an important topic because some students, they don't even start their preparation because of some wrong ideas or wrong beliefs. Some, they would have started their preparation. During their preparation they'll be going in the wrong direction because of some misconception. Some, they'll be preparing for this examination under the impression or under the wrong guidance that once if they are going to be selected, the world is going to be, it is something different. In today's session I'm going to talk on different topics. First one is choice of the career. Is it good or bad? What kind of service it is? What are all the major beliefs about the civil service examinations? But what is the true? And the second one is, as I mentioned, the preparation. During this journey of preparation, what are all the doubts one will be encountering? All those things I'm going to clarify. Before that, today we are going to start the UPSC preliminary online program today around 11 o'clock. Those who are interested to join in the online program, you can join. It is going to be for about 2.5 months to 3 months. Every day you will be attending 2 sessions, one in the morning and another one is in the afternoon. Today around 11:30 the session will start. It will end by 12:30, and in the evening also you'll be having one more session. And the same way you'll be attending almost 7 days in a week. It will go for a 9 weeks, and for 126 hours you are going to attend. It's an end-to-end coverage of prelims, GS as well as CSAT. We are going to give more importance for the GS because CSAT, only a small strategy it is required. Otherwise, one will be looking for more support for the GS paper. So we will be supporting for your preparation, and many seniors are going to handle the session. So I hope the session is going to be really useful during this lockdown period. It is going to be given to you at affordable cost. It is 9999 plus 18% GST. In order to make the payment, just you can click the link, that is www.kingmakersiasacademy.com online courses. One more thing just I want to tell you, Kingmakers IAS Academy is conducting a all India free mock test. Already we have finished one test. Thank you very much for your wonderful support. Many of you have written, and we have got the excellent feedback about the question papers. Yes, of course, the next test is going to be conducted on 10/5/2020. Again, it is a free test. You can write the GS test in the morning and CSAT test in the afternoon. It is going to be conducted almost in the same line of UPSC. You all know very well that now the exam it is postponed for the time being. The new date will be announced very soon after 20th. So, but whatever it may be, we have to prepare as of now. We have to be ready to face any kind of situation. Even if they are going to conduct the exam in the first week of second week of June, we should be ready to face it. So you try to take this test very seriously. This is the second thing is, and third test we are planning to conduct on 17th of May. Again, it's a free test. So please join in the free mock test. GS test is going to be conducted between 9:30 to 11:30, and CSAT between 2 to 4 p.m. Fine. Today's session, we are going to talk about the popular myths in the civil service. Before that, the upcoming topics in the civil service webinar series, that is how to overcome your failures. I know very well many students, they used to prepare for 2 to 3 years, then later on they will drop it. Even by the time they would have given one or two mains also, but even then they used to drop it. So I want to tell you the truth, and I want to quote some examples during this session. I'm sure this session will be really useful to motivate yourself. And the second one is on 12th May, that is going to be on importance of English language in civil service examination. Please join with us. The third session is going to be on 15th May, that is trend analysis and approach for the civil service preliminary GS paper. We are going to see in this particular session the last year and previous year question papers, and what was the trend and how many questions they have asked from that particular area or a subject, and how one should focus for the GS preparations, all those things. And trend analysis and approach for the CSE preliminary CSAT paper, it is going to be discussed on 18th. Now slightly they have changed the approach in the CSAT paper, so you should know the latest approach for the CSAT paper, then only you can easily crack it. If you're overconfident about the CSAT paper, sometimes that will pull you down, so you have to be very careful. Yeah, my dear friends, now the today's session, there is a most popular myths in the civil services examinations. Yes, those who are all starting their preparations, if you're a beginner, I'm sure this session is going to be highly useful, because once if you are aware about all the facts, then you can save your time, and you can save your energy, you can save your money, you can save a lot of things, and you can crack in your first attempt. Because after a period of 1 year, 2 years only, many people will come to know the reality. But if you are very smart enough, I'm sure definitely whatever I'm going to discuss here, you can easily follow it, and you believe it, because whatever the answers I'm going to give it to you, because for about 50 questions I'm going to answer in this particular session. It is going to be a very quick session. 50 questions I have just prepared it. For each and every question, just I'll answer whether it is true or false, and I will also explain why. If it is true, why it is. If it is false, why it is, so that you'll come to know whether you are in the right direction, whether your idea it is same with the UPS expectation, other things and all. Fine. See, the aim of the discussion, already I have discussed about this. Many people, they used to focus more on the myths than the facts. That is the main reason why we thought that we can conduct this session. In other videos also, they have discussed maximum 1 or 2 questions, or maximum or 10 questions, or 15 questions. Here I'm going to discuss for almost for 50 major myths, the most popular myths about the civil services preparation, and the choice of the career, and even after entering into the civil services, how it is going to be your life. Everything I'm going to discuss. First one is myths on the career choice. Whether shall I choose a civil service examination or not? Because the people says that this is the most toughest examination among everything. Is this true? Shall I go with this preparation? If it is going to be a really toughest examination, will I be able to clear this examination? And many people, they don't even come for this preparation because they think that it is the toughest examination. In my view, just I want to answer for this particular question. In my view, yes, of course, it is the toughest examination, but it is not that much tough like some other exams, like even if you are, in case if you are going to write the exam for AIMS entrance, or even NEET examination, I can say nowadays, because again now that has become very tougher nowadays. And even if you are preparing for the CA, that examination is equally tougher. And see, there are many more exams, but people, they consider civil service examination as one of the toughest examination for various reasons, because most of the people, those who are writing this examination, they are coming from the engineering background, but the syllabus it is designed in the humanities background. So in the initial stage they may find it little difficult, but later on they'll find it very interesting, and easily they'll clear it. But for anything and everything, when you are going to start your journey, I'm sure definitely you may feel little hard. But once if you are familiar, once if you're stick to your journey, I'm sure definitely over a period of time you'll feel more comfortable, and you'll never give up in the preparation till you reach your journey. I'm sure definitely you'll be traveling. I know very well about this, because I've seen many of our students, they are all successful today. Initially they thought that this examination was very very tough, and later on they come to know, okay, it is not that much tough as they thought. So this is what I want to tell you. So yes, of course it's tough, but with a little bit of smart work and hard work, I'm sure definitely easily you can crack it. Only lucky ones can crack a competitive exam. Is it true? Because people, there almost more than 10 lakhs people are applying and appearing for this civil service examination. Only few, maximum 1,000 students are selected every year. So only lucky ones can crack a competitive examination. I'm a bad lucky guy. My parents, they used to say that I'm not having a luck. So even if I'm going to work hard, will I be able to achieve in this examination? That was the doubt from most of the candidates. My dear friends, here I want to tell you, yes, of course luck will play a minor role both in the prelims as well as the mains, and in the personality test also. How just I want to tell you, see, if you're there are 10 chapters, you have studied only 9 chapters, but there was no questions from the 10th chapter, then it is your luck. But if you don't study 9 chapters, then just imagine how your luck will play a role. So luck will play a role when you are going to put some hard work. So luck will play a role when you are going to be consistent in your studies. Luck will play a role when you are going to be dedicated in your preparations. Yes, of course, even during your mains examination also, I will always say that if you're having the right mentors, then it is your luck. If you're having a right resources, then it is your luck. If there are more number of vacancies, then it is your luck. And see, these are all that have and the environment is so conducive, then it is your luck. On the particular day of the examination, the climate is really good, then it is your luck. See, these are all things which I can tell that these are all the luck factor one can look for in this examination. Because you know very well that to 1 year before, when the main examination was conducted, on that particular day, Chennai was flooded with like anything. So the students, they find it very difficult to reach the examination hall. So that was a bad luck. But it is not happening every year, right? So please don't believe this kind of factors and all. Luck can play a very very small role. The third one is, it is an exam for academic toppers, not for an average students. So many people, they don't even choose the civil service as their career. It is because they think that they are average students in their academic side, and they had not scored very good marks in their 10th and plus 2 and in the graduation. So they think that they cannot clear the civil service examination. See, I want to tell you here one important example. I know some students, those who studied in the open university, in spite of that they have cleared the civil service examination. They studied in the distance education, they have cleared the civil service examination. So they are not going to see your marks when you are going to submit your application, especially when you are going to write your preliminary examination. They are going to see your they are not going to see your academic records. When you are going to appear for a mains examination, again they are not going to see your academic records. When you are going to appear for the personality test, they'll come to know what is your score in your 10th and plus 2 and your graduation. Even then, they are not going to give you an extra mark. It is because they are you are the topper from that particular subject, or you are the candidate from such a popular institute or something like that. They may have some good opinion, that's it. But after that, it is your duty to fulfill their expectation. Otherwise, even I know some students, they are all from Delhi School of Economics, even they are from JNU. They are not able to score high marks in the personality test. But our own student Chitra, who is from average background, who studied in the government school, who studied in the average institutions, she was a topper in the all India level in the personality test. So your academic top performance will not play any much role in the civil service preparation. Don't worry about your academic records. In case if you are a really a good student in your 10th or plus 2, maybe that will boost your confidence level, and it is going to be a kind of motivation factor. That's it. But it doesn't mean only the academic toppers can clear this examination. Even an average students, they can clear this examination. That's very important. The fourth important thing is poor cannot afford, and they should first they should settle in a job, then only they can be more comfortable, then they can start the preparation. See, this is again one more myth among the aspirants. I am in the field for more than 20-25 years. I started my preparation in 1996. It was my first attempt. 95 I started my preparation, and from 96 to 2004 I was giving my attempt. So I joined in the Government of India service in 99. Just in my 25 years of experience, I want to tell you one thing. I've seen many candidates with the poor background, they have achieved in the civil service examinations. Every year I am seeing the daughter and son of the auto driver, they have cleared the civil service examination. The guy who was working in the uh, restaurant as a servant, he has cleared the civil service examination. And many parents are from the rural background, they're all agricultural laborers, but still their children, they have cleared the civil service examination. So nowadays all the study materials are available in the internet, and the academy like Kingmakers IAS Academy is going to help you in various ways for your preparation, because the strategy is the one which you will be looking for. See, if you're going to attend all these sessions, around 50 sessions we are planning to provide. See, in each and every session we are going to discuss about this strategy. So today, in today's session, I'm going to break the entire myths about this exam. So once if you're clear, once if you're going to have only the facts, I'm sure definitely you will be in the right direction. So only for that reasons you are going to join in the coaching institutes, otherwise definitely it is not required. So it is not that poor cannot clear this examination. Even a poor fellow, if with a strong determination, with a strong aspiration, with a disciplined effort, I'm sure definitely one can clear in this civil service examinations. So don't worry about it. And it's not that you have to settle in a job. Only thing is, if your parents are not dependent on you, then definitely you can completely dedicate yourself for 1 year or 2 years, and definitely you can focus more on your studies. I'm sure definitely you can achieve in your first attempt. So again, this is the myth. The fifth one is only parents with a government job can help their children. Again, I have seen, because the Kingmakers IAS Academy is conducting an awareness program throughout Tamil Nadu. I have conducted more than 300 seminars in association with the Hindu. We are creating awareness like anything about the civil service examinations. When I started writing this examination, hardly 5,000 students were there from the state of Tamil Nadu who gave this attempt. But they used to apply for this exam, but again hardly 2,000 people, they used to come to the examination hall. But now, because of so much of awareness, even today the number has gone up to only 30,000. But whereas for the TNPSC group 1 examinations, the students from Tamil Nadu, more than 10 lakhs people are applying and appearing for this exam. But for UPSC civil service examination, even now today, only 30,000 people are appearing. The reason is they think our parents are illiterate, our parents are not in the government service, our parents are uh, doing a business, and only for the parents, those who are in the only for the children, for parents and those who are in the government job, they can clear, they can support. So these are all the popular myths among the aspirants. My dear friends, I want to tell you one thing. See, you are the one who's going to write the exam, not your parents. So you are the one who is going to enjoy the benefits, not your parents. So if you think that your parents can help, see, of course they can support you morally. I know very good parents, even from the rural background, they give enormous support morally. That is very important for the civil service aspirant. See, the economical support even a student can earn nowadays. You have a plenty of opportunity to earn in the metropolitan cities like Chennai. You can work for 2 hours or 3 hours, and you can really support yourself for the preparation. But the moral support, that is essential. For getting the moral support, it is not necessary that your parents should be the government employee. Even if your only thing is, you have to make your parents that they have to understand that you are really in the right direction, you are really working hard, and they should feel that one day or other day my children are going to achieve in the civil service examination, and I'm sure definitely one day I'm going to be very proud of my children. See, these kind of beliefs they should have. Then only you can expect the support from the parents. How you can develop the support from the parents? Only by your activity, only by your actions. So whatever the things you are going to do every day, your routine will make them what to say, they'll understand every day what you are doing, every day what you are watching, every day what you are reading. All those things will just boost their confidence. So this is how you can expect the support from your parents. Don't worry. So again, it is a myth. So the sixth one is, only engineers can crack UPSC. Persons from humanities background cannot. This there's a question from most of the aspirants. Again, those who are studying the uh, what to say, humanities subject. Even some engineers, they think that I'm an engineer graduate, I can easily crack. See, both are false. If you think that you are an engineer, it is enough to clear this examination, it is false. If you think that you are a humanitarian, you are from the humanitarian background and you cannot clear this exam, again it is a false. See, it is why most of the, first I'll answer why most of the engineers are selected in the UPSC. The reason, only one reason behind this, most of the engineers are writing these examinations. That is the reason why the most of the engineers are selected in the final list. If more number of students are going to write from the humanity background, I'm sure definitely more number of students are going to be selected. Why most of the engineers are writing this exam? Because they think, because they have really they have studied well in their school days, they have studied in a very good college. Otherwise, even if they are not studying in a very good college, they have put what to say, they are known for their hard work. So they think that they can easily clear this examination. But the students from the humanity background, they think the because you have not studied that much as engineers they study in their school days or college days. They were always the students from the arts background, they used to prepare for their, even for their college examination, just 1 week before the exam or 1 day before the exam, and they used to clear it. So their confidence level is little low compared to engineering students. So these may be the reasons. Otherwise, this examination is not going to give any advantage for the engineers. In fact, this examination is going to give advantage only for the art students, because the syllabus which you are going to study, it consists of history, geography, economy, Indian constitution, international relations, world history, society, social issues, all are related to the humanities. So nothing to worry about it. The engineers, since because they are known for their hard work, they used to come for the preparation, they used to work like anything. That is the reason why most of the engineers are cracking these examinations. So don't think that only engineer can crack it. And moreover, nowadays there is no job security or job opportunity for most of the engineers. That is the reason why they are coming for it. And especially after this post COVID-19 crisis, I'm sure most of the engineers, they'll come for the civil service preparations, because there won't be any more job opportunities in the software as well as in the other sectors. So naturally they'll be looking for government services. So don't worry about this. The next one is, should I sacrifice my social life in preparation and work? Yes, I know that you are all in the age group of 18 to 25. Most of you are in the age group of 18 to 25. I know how you are spending everyday life. Most of the time you are in the WhatsApp and in the Facebook and Instagram, Telegram, and so on. It is very, very difficult for you to stop all those things. I'm not asking to stop everything. See, one thing you should understand, if you are going to prepare for this examination, you should be very, very dedicated. And you should see, you have to manage your time very judiciously. That is very important. See, if you know, if you are able to control your time, I'm sure definitely you can easily clear this examination. See, I'm not asking you to just get out of this, all this social media and other things. You can be very active, but you should know when to be active, when not to be inactive. Of course, nowadays it is unavoidable, and so much of good informations are available in the social media. Of course, always when you are in the social media, you can spend some good time to know more about various happenings, what it is happening in and around you. So these are all the things which it is expected in the UPSC examination, especially in the personality test. So this is also a myth, so don't worry about all those things. So you don't want to sacrifice your social life because there are 24 hours in a day and you are going to study for 6 to 8 hours. The remaining 16 hours it is in your hand, and you can sleep for 8 hours, and remaining 8 hours you can spend for your social life. Don't worry. And some people, they used to say that I cannot study by working and in some other job. See, simultaneously, if you're going to work as well as if you're going to study, I know that it is going to be a little difficult, but I won't say that working people cannot clear. This is a myth. I have seen many people, they used to work as well as they used to clear these examinations. So as I told you earlier, if you're going to be in the full-time preparation, you'll be spending more than 8 hours or 6 to 8 hours per day. If you're working, then you'll be spending 5 hours. Evening, if you're going to sit around 7 o'clock, and you can study till night 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock, and after that you can go to bed. And the early morning around 6 or 7 o'clock you can get up. More than 6.5 hours, 7 hours sleep is more than sufficient for the working people. So you have to manage your time judiciously, then I'm sure definitely easily you can clear it. So this is also again a myth. I know many people in my experience, they were working, in spite of that they have cleared this examination. Next one is, sir, if I'm going to fail, that's all, everyone will see me as a failure. Yes, this society will appreciate you when you are going to be successful. If you are failure, definitely they will see you as a failure. But as long as you are going to seek the what to say, the support from the society, as long as you are going to live for the society, everything, both positive and negative things, that will influence you like anything. But being a civil service aspirant, you should not worry about the others. Always you have to worry about you, and whether you are true to your preparation, whether were you very sincere in your preparation or not. See whether you are honest to your preparation or not. See, these are all things which will really matters a lot. But otherwise, don't worry about all these things. I know a girl who cleared in her ninth attempt very recently. She belongs to reserved category, and she was able to clear in her ninth attempt. So till the time, the society saw her as a failure one, and nobody would have appreciated her. She would have faced so much challenges. Even her own relatives, they would have discouraged her. But in spite of that, now she has made it. Now the society comes, yeah, I know about this girl, always used to study like anything. I know this girl, one day or other day she will become like anything. I know about you, yeah, you will one day clear. See, this is how you will get the motivation when you are going to clear the civil service examination. So don't worry about all these things. Be sincere in your preparation, because the knowledge which you are going to gain during this preparation, I'm sure definitely you cannot gain this kind of knowledge anywhere else in the world. Because the knowledge, everyday knowledge you are going to gain when you are going to study the newspaper, and you will come to know in and around what is happening around you, and you'll know the reasons behind it, you'll know the consequences of that, you know the cause and effect, you can easily connect to that. And your interpersonal skills is going to develop, your communication skill is going to develop, and your personality is going to be groomed like anything. And wherever you are going to be there, and whatever you are going to do, you are going to be very, very successful. So there is no word called failure in the civil service preparation, my dear friend. So this is a very important thing which I want to tell you. But in detail, I'm going to discuss with you in the next session how to overcome your failure with a lot of examples, with so many successful stories. I'm going to show you some good videos, and they are also going to share their experience. For example, as I told you, one example now, the girl who cleared in her ninth attempt, she's going to come and share her experience. The girl who cleared and became the topper in her sixth attempt, that is Chitra, she's going to come and she's going to share her experience. So my dear friends, your journey will end only when you feel that you are not going to try. Okay, so that is called failure. As long as you are going to try, I'm sure definitely you're going to reach your target. And the next one is, the students from Tamil medium should aim only for TNPSC examination, not for the UPSC examination. Is it true or not? Yes, I know the those who are attending now. How many of you are from Tamil medium? Can you raise your hands? Thumbs up. Yeah. Okay. So many are there. Oh, good. Okay. Akhilan Bharati, Sundara Priya, fine, good. Good. Don't worry. See, one good news I want to tell from this particular myth. Even one of my student now he's in Uttar Pradesh. He's an IAS officer. Later on, he became a faculty and he served for quite some time in Kingmakers IAS Academy. He studied in Tamil medium. His name is Manikandan. He cleared the civil service examination by opting Tamil literature as his optional. Not only he opted Tamil literature as his optional, he answered all the papers in the regional language. See, not only Mr. Manikandan IAS, but also the guy who is working as of now in Tuticorin as a commissioner in the corporation, Mr. VP Jayseelan. He became the topper of Tamil Nadu. He wrote all the paper in this regional language, and he studied in Tamil medium. He studied in the government school. My dear friends, yes, easily you can clear the TNPSC examination, and but for UPSC, you should have some little bit of knowledge. Like you should know how to read and understand, and you should know the meaning of that particular question. That is what it is expected in the UPSC examination. Even for your preliminary examinations, as I mentioned in the last session, the question paper is going to be only in English and Hindi. That is the only difficulty which you are going to face in the preliminary examination. Even in the mains examination, the question paper is going to be in the English and the Hindi. Only thing is you should know and you should understand the questions, but you can answer the questions in your regional language. You can write all your answers in your mother tongue. It may be Hindi, it may be Telugu, it may be Malayalam, it may be Tamil. You can always use your own mother tongue language for your mains answer writing. But for preliminary examination, anyway, it is going to be objective type in nature. You are not going to write anything. You are going to only mark the correct answers. So nothing to worry about it. Only thing is you should read and understand it. I don't think so that any students will be there from such a background. But of course, even if you are not able to understand certain meanings, don't worry about it. When you are going to study, you will come to know all the meanings and easily you will overcome all the difficulties. So this is also again a myth. So easily you can clear. The next one is about the preparation. Now see about the career of choice. This is what I want to tell you. Around 10 popular myths were there. These may be the reasons for not choosing the civil service as their career of choice. Now since because you know the facts, now always you can choose this as your career. Now if you want to start the preparation, what are all the myths? Let us see this. There is a problem in the next slide and showing the next slide. Yes. Yeah. Now the second one is myths on the preparation. Now already we had a wonderful discussion on the career of choice. Now you have understood about the civil services as your career of choice. Now on preparation, should I study more than 12 hours per day? People say that you have to study even 25 hours per day. Is it true? I've heard about because you are under the lot of confusions nowadays, because people those who have not written the civil service examination, they used to share some very interesting stories. These are all the stories, but it's not the true stories. They would not have interacted with the civil service aspirant at all, only because they would have heard from someone and they are sharing their views. That's it. They used to share the like see, this is the examination, always you have to study like anything, and you have to study 18 hours, 20 hours and 24 hours, and throughout the year you have to be with the books only. Your life is, that's it, that's how, that's this and that, all those things they will say. But here I want to tell you, I want to clarify one important thing is, if you are going to be very very consistent, because the consistency is a key word here. If you're going to be very very consistent in your preparation, 6 to 8 hours, it is more than sufficient. See, continuously preparing for more than 12 hours, it is humanly, it is impossible, because your mood may not be same every day. We are all human being. and one day we will be in a distress mood, and the other day we will be in a very good mood, and one day one subject will be more interesting, the other subject will not be more interesting, and for one subject you will be having very good resource, for another subject you will not be having a very good resource. So these are all the may, and one day you will be having a very good environment at your home and or at your study place, and other day you may not have it. See, if you are going to worry about all these things, you cannot prepare for these examinations. See, it is not about the quantity of number of hours, it is the quality of number of hours. Even if you go to study 4 to 5 hours per day, try to be very what to say, consistent in your preparations, and try to put at least 3 to 4 hours per day or 4 to 5 hours per day. Continuously you have to prepare, and slowly you can increase 5 to 6 hours per day, and later on you will not bother about the number of hours, you'll be focusing more on completing the syllabus. See, again, when I mention about the completing the syllabus, even the topper of our country in the civil service examination, he would not have completed the entire syllabus, because as far as the current affairs is concerned, nobody can cover the entire syllabus. Maybe the static portion one should have covered, and one can easily cover, and but whereas in the dynamic portion one cannot become master in the current affairs. So don't worry about all those things. So just be genuine in your preparation, make a study plan and stick to it. At least prepare minimum 4 to 5 hours or 5 to 6 hours. Then have to study more books. Again, here first, already we had a discussion on resources for the civil service examinations. So when you have understood about the resources for the civil service examination, how many of you attended the resources for the civil service examinations? Can you answer? Yes, good. Yes, yeah, most of you have attended. Good. And then for those who have not attended, I request you to just watch our YouTube videos, that is resources for the civil service examinations, in which I have clearly mentioned that what are all the books one should refer, what are all the magazines one should refer, and what are all the websites one should refer, and how you can manage your resources, and the time management in the collection of the study materials, time management in the preparations, and time management in the presentations. All those things we had already discussed in the resources. My dear friends, only one thing I want to tell you, you don't want to read 10 books one time, but one books 10 time. It is more important, because this is the key for the preparation. The first one is the key for the preparation is consistency. Here, read more number of times, but try to have very limited number of resources. That's very important. If you're having more number of books, there you are committing a very big mistakes. You'll be having more books for each and every subject, each and every chapter. You'll be having more books, but finally you would not have completed, you would not have studied. I know some students, they used to prepare more number of hours, they used to prepare more number of books, but still they are not able to clear their preliminary examination even. Why? It is because they are not able to manage their time properly, they are not able to manage their resources properly. This is what very important thing which one should know. So please watch that video, in which you will understand that what to do, what not to do in the resources collection and resources preparation. So you should have a very limited resources. Okay. Again, how to have high IQ and remember facts. Yeah, here people again from the engineering background, they used to always say that, sir, it is very difficult to remember all the years and the facts and names and battles, all those things. And whenever I read history, I feel bored, and I don't even feel like opening the book. I'm sorry, sir, please tell some advice, something like that. They used to come and ask some doubts. And some people, they used to say that I don't have high IQ, and will I be able to remember all the facts? Here again, I want to tell you, this examination, once upon a time, yes, of course, they were having more number of questions with the objective of testing the more factual knowledge. But now more number of questions are asked with the objective of testing your analytical ability and your understanding ability, whether you have understood the issue or not, whether are you able to eliminate the wrong answers or not, are you able to take a correct decision or not, are you able to take that correct decision in the a very limited period or not. See, these are all the main objective before setting the question papers. So when they are having this kind of objectives, they don't ask direct factual questions. Always in the UPSC civil service examination, there may be out of 100 questions, there may be around 10 to 15 questions which are directly asked, and maybe maximum 20 questions which are directly asked. Most of the 80 questions are from the concept based questions. So once if you're thorough with the concepts, I'm sure definitely you can be more comfortable. And high level of IQ, don't worry about the IQ, because I know one student that he met a psychologist and he went and he took up some test to find out his high IQ level, because he thought that only the person who is having the higher IQ can clear the civil service examination, and he got the result of average IQ. Then he got demotivated and he came and he just expressed his grievances, other things and all. Then we gave him the counseling. Now he's the group one topper, and now he's serving as a DSP actually. So see, these are all the very interesting stories which we have come across in our experience. So don't worry about all these things and all. So this is again another myth. The next one is on preparation. How to read two or three newspapers, 2 to 3 newspapers. Is it possible? Definitely it is not possible. Even reading one newspaper itself, it is very difficult. I do understand, I can understand. I will not recommend to read you read 2 to 3 newspaper. Read only one newspaper, but read what to read, what not to read. That is very important. See, we had again how many of you have attended that newspaper discussion? Can you raise your hands? Oh, most of you have attended the session. Very, very interesting and very, very informative session, which was handled by Mr. Adil. And if you are a beginner and if you are first time attending this session, again, I request you to watch that video, the resources for the civil service preparation. And the next one is how to read the newspaper, because most of the questions in the civil service examination will appear only from the newspaper. Most of the questions from the current affairs point of view, it will be coming only from the newspaper. So you should know how to read the newspaper. Before you read the newspaper, you attend this session, you watch our video in the Kingmakers IAS Academy YouTube channel, how to read the newspaper. Then you will come to know what are the relevant chapters or relevant points and relevant topics one should refer for the civil service preparation. You should know the syllabus, then you should know the topics, then after that you have to read the newspaper, then you have to take notes. All those things already I have mentioned. So for more than 1 hour we had a session on this particular chapter. So read only one newspaper, that is more than enough. Don't want to read 2 to 3 newspaper. And later on you can go through the compilation of sorry, Kingmakers IAS Academy monthly compilation for prelims as well as for the mains. One book is called Target Prelims. Another book is called King's Mag for mains preparation, and Target Prelims for the prelims preparation, in which we have compiled from various sources. Almost from we used to, our R&D team members, they used to prepare all the newspapers. One will be reading Economic Times, another guy will be reading Indian Express, another guy will be reading India Hindu. So each one will come with the different points, and then we will compile together. Then we will give you as a question and answer format, and that will be really more useful for your preparation. Already we have uploaded in our Kingmakers IAS Academy app also. For the last 1 year we have uploaded every day 10 questions we used to upload, and in the end of the month almost 300 questions which will come as a booklet format. That too subject wise we have segregated, and that will be very easy for you to go through. Please go through the last 10 months compilation. It is available in your Kingmakers IAS Academy app. It is at free of cost. You can just go through that. So this is more than enough, friend. So nothing to worry that it will consume more of your time in case if you are going to read a 2 3 newspaper. If you think like that, it's a wrong thing. Read only one newspaper. That is more than enough. Next, skip. Sorry, the next one is can we skip newspaper if studying current affairs compilation? No. Here answer is no. You should not skip the newspaper. Yes, you have to read the current affairs compilation, but uh, while you are reading the newspaper, you will have some kind of what to say, real you'll enjoy reading the newspaper. When you are reading current affairs compilation only for the sake of examinations point of view, you may read it, but it will be more information will be overloaded. So sometimes information will be overloaded and you will not be able to have that feel of reading. But when you are reading a newspaper, the coherence will be really good. And uh, uh, this kind of practice will help you even for your essay paper as well as for your mains answer writing paper. See, unknowingly you'll be learning many things when you are reading the newspaper. Your presentation skills, it would have improved like anything, and your vocabulary skills, it would have improved like anything. See, and your general knowledge and your approach for the current issues and your problem solving skills, your decision making skills, all those things will be enhanced only when you're going to read the newspaper. So please don't skip the newspaper. Read at least only one newspaper. That will be really useful. Make a habit of it. And next one is whether have to complete the whole syllabus. No. Yes, of course, you have to complete the syllabus. When I said no, I just I already have mentioned about that. Uh, Related with the current affairs, one cannot complete the whole syllabus because there is no stipulated syllabus for the current affairs. But for the static portions, of course, there is a prescribed syllabus. Just to you make a note of the syllabus, and for each and every keyword in the syllabus, just to prepare a note and try to complete the syllabus, and try to attend all the questions. That is very important. Unless until you complete the whole syllabus in the static portions, you will not have more confidence to face all the questions. So in order to increase your confidence level, try to complete the syllabus. If you are preparing the part time, no problem. Even if you are in the full time, don't worry. See, in order to clear the civil service examination, you should know something about everything, not everything about something. So you should know something about everything in the syllabus. Then how to have to do optional, which is most scoring. See, whether I have to choose the optional which is most scoring or which is most interesting. This is a dilemma for most of the students. Or should I choose the optional which I study in my graduation? This is the question from most of the aspirants I used to encounter every year. How many of you are having these questions? Oh, most of you are having this question. Okay. Okay, fine. I'll answer to this because again, this is a very important and very interesting questions. Here also we had discussion how to choose the optional subject. But in my view, I want to tell you always only one thing. You have to go through the syllabus first. Second one is go through the previous year question papers. Third one is try to find out someone who has cleared the civil service examination by choosing that particular optionals. Fourth one is watch some videos in the YouTube, because they would have shared their strategy for that particular optional. Then later on, you ask few questions, that is whether in your place the right person is available or not, whether are you having the access for the resource materials or not. The third one is whether someone is there to evaluate your paper and give comments, whether someone is there or not. See, these are the questions one should ask before choosing the optional. If you're having a very good mentor, then if you're having a real interest in the subject, don't worry about the most scoring optional. There is no subject is called most scoring or least scoring. If you're going to be really very sincere, I'm sure in any optional definitely you can score. But of course, some people, they used to adopt a strategy called most scoring and least popular, and most popular and least scoring and average scoring. So whatever the strategy it may be, but you should know whether that strategy will be suitable to your personality or not. That is very important. See, other strategy may not be suitable for your own preparation. So in the civil service preparation, many people, they used to commit mistakes. They used to always try to copy their strategy, other strategy. Please don't copy other strategy. It is your own strategy which will really help you for your civil service preparation. Otherwise sometimes in between, sometimes you may feel depressed, and sometimes you may even drop your preparation. So you have to be very careful. Try to create or evolve your own strategy. That will be really a best solution for your preparation. And how to study optional for have to study optional for 2 years or not? See, no, I know people, they used to study even for 2 months and 3 months. They used to clear the civil service examination. In those times and all, we used to prepare for 3 optional subjects. When I was writing the civil service examination, for preliminary examination, we had the optional. And for the mains examination, we have to choose 2 subjects as our optional subjects. 2 optional subjects were there. So for preliminary examination, we used to select 1 subject. But for main examination, we used to choose some other 2 subjects. We do not, we don't even choose the subject same. We don't even choose the same subject which we opted the preliminary subject. It means we have to study 3 subjects at a time. Just imagine, when we were able to clear the civil service examination by studying 3 optional subjects within a period of 3 to 5 months, why not it is possible to complete only one subject within a period of 3 to 6 months period of time? I'm sure definitely it is possible. So don't worry, it is not required to prepare for 2 years. If you are really sincere, if you are having a very good mentor, if you're having a very good study material, I'm sure definitely within a period of 3 to 4 months of preparation, definitely one can become master in the optional subject. Maximum 4 months to 5 months, that's it, enough. See, every day you have to attend the class 2 to 3 hours. Then every day you have to attend 2 to 3 hours. You have to read the, you have to study for 2 to 3 hours. See, this is how you have to plan for your optional. Anyway, one whole year you are going to prepare for your civil services preparation. So with in the whole 1 year, you have to dedicate yourself 5 months for the optional. This is what I want to tell you. Now, have to study prelims and mains separately? No. This also already we discussed. Not only the static portion, even the dynamic portions, always your approach should be combined approach. Don't have a separate strategy for prelims. Don't have a separate strategy for the mains. Always you should have a combined approach. Then only easily you can clear it. There is no separate strategy. There is no separate strategy for the mains. So make sure that whenever you are reading an article, reading an issue, always just you study in the 360-degree dimension. Always that will be really helpful for your prelims as well as for your mains. In order to solve the questions in the prelims, you should have a thorough knowledge about that particular area. Then only you can clear. So in order to have a thorough knowledge in that particular area, you should have studied for your mains. So instead of starting from prelims, better you can start from the mains. I can always suggest you. So that will be really useful for you. Next, can study mains after prelims result? No. uh, After your prelims result, you will be having hardly 2 months time, which is insufficient for your 2 months. It is very very insufficient to complete the entire syllabus. One, if you are planning to give attempt in 2020, by this time you should have completed all your 4 GS paper. By this time you should have completed your optional paper. At least once you should have read all the important books. See, you can revise after prelims result, but you cannot read after prelims result. After the prelims examination, you should avoid even attending some classes, and all the relevant chapters which are going to be for the mains examination. By this time you should have at least minimum exposure. Then only, if you are going to be selected in the prelims examination, you will be more comfortable to face the challenges in the mains examination. Otherwise, even if your results are going to be positive, you may not in a mood, or you may not have that confidence to prepare for the mains exam itself. So preparation itself, it may be a difficult thing. So make sure if you are going to give your attempt in 2021, by this time 2020, by this time you should have completed. In case if you're going to give attempt in 2021, you have to start your journey now. You just to complete your entire syllabus, and after your prelims result, you spend your time for two things. One is for revision, another one is for the presentation, because you have to write more number of tests after your prelims result. You may not find time for reading some new materials, so you can only revise and reproduce. See, these are the important things which you should remember. First one is you have to listen. Second one is you have to read it. Third one is you have to revise it. Fourth one is you have to reproduce it. The first two things, listening and reading, you should have completed before your prelims exam. And revising and reproducing all those things, you can do it after your prelims result. So this is what I want to tell you. Next, whether have to join in the coaching institute to crack this exam. Is it possible to crack this exam without joining in the coaching institutes? Here I want to tell you. See, we are also running a coaching institute. I'm the director of the coaching institute. Being a director, here I want to be very honest with you. What you can expect from the coaching institute, and what are all the myths about these coaching institutes, how you are misguided sometimes by the coaching institutes, and what you can expect from the coaching institutes. If you're having more expectation from the coaching institutes, you'll be having more disappointment. If you think that only by joining the coaching institute you can crack this examination, again it is a very big mistake. Again, if you think that those who are all in the coaching institutes, they are all successful, again it is a very big mistake. I have seen the students, they have not even seen the coaching institutes. They are not even just visited even once in their lifetime to the coaching institutes, but still they have become topper in the civil service examination. For example, now the more and most popular bureaucrat, that is our Chennai Corporation Commissioner, Mr. G. Prakash IAS, who was my roommate during our preparation, and he is known for his dedication and commitment and sincerity and whatnot. That is the reason why he was able to crack with the all India fourth rank in the civil service examination, and in the written he was a topper. Even today, no one is able to break his record. Because he got 410 out of 600 in the GS, and 415 out of 600 in the Tamil literature. And see, this is something very what to say. Nobody can believe that he studied on his own and he got this much score. So he became all India fourth rank. So when he cleared the civil service examination, everybody, they went and they asked which institutes you studied, and who is your mentor. He said only one thing is, I am the mentor, and I am the guru, and my books are my mentors, and my parents are the motivators, and my parents are the mentors, and without that, with the support of God and other things, today I have cleared the civil service examination. The two not I have cleared with the all India topper, and today I have been placed with the Tamil Nadu cadre. So this was the interview which he gave at the time of his selection. Today he is a Chennai Corporation Commissioner. You know very well that how he is doing the service to the country, and how he's sacrificed his entire life, how sincere he is, how dedicated he is, and how efficient he is. But he didn't join in any coaching institutes. I can quote many examples like that. So he was very clear, because he was very clear that only the person who is going to write the civil service examination, he should be more dedicated. See, the coaching institutes you can expect for only one support, one for few supports I can tell. They can save your time, because you're going to meet many friends like you. They're all going to share their experience. In case if you're in the wrong direction, you will be in the proper direction. Second, whatever the tips which we are giving through this webinar, we will be discussing during our class sessions. So through which you will save your, again, your time and energy, and you will be in the proper direction. Third one is, Very often we used to invite some great personalities. For example, Kingmakers IAS Academy conducts a program called King's Talk for India Tomorrow, for which we used to invite the great personalities of our nation. For example, in the last 2 months, we had invited uh, former finance minister and former external affairs minister Yashwant Sinha, because he himself is an IAS officer. He was an IAS officer. Then later on, he became a politician. He joined in the politics. He became the external affairs minister, and he also held the post of defense minister for some time. He came to our academy. The second one is we invited our honorable former president to inspire our students. Then Kiran Bedi madam, she inspired our students. Then recent past, we invited former RBI governor C Rangarajan sir to inspire our students. Very recently, we had a session with our former UPSC chairman DP Agarwal. He came to our academy, and another former UPSC member, and the currently he is heading the committee, Baswan sir, and he came to Kingmakers IAS Academy to motivate these students. See, these are the things which you will have an opportunity in the coaching institutes. But all the sessions, again, it is uploaded in the YouTube. See, it is again, it is your perception. It is up to you what kind of persons you are. If you are a person who has to be guided throughout the year, and if you are a person who has to be motivated now and then, if you're a person who expect the support for your paper evaluation very often, then definitely you can seek the support of the coaching institutes. Otherwise, it is not that only the candidates, those who are joining the coaching institute, can crack this examination. Means no, coaching institutes also can play a small role in your success. That's what it is, a true information. Whether you join in the Kingmakers IAS Academy or you join in some other coaching institutes, this is the true picture of the coaching institutes. Because when I started this institute, I thought that I want to create a very big awareness among the rural youth, because many potential aspirants are there in the rural, but they are not coming for this preparation for various myths behind this examination. So when I started this coaching institute, I thought of clearing about this myths also about the coaching institutes. So whenever you are coming for the even counseling, I used to tell, see, these are the supports you can expect from the coaching institute. It is the one you who has to work hard. It is the one you who has to prepare like anything. It is the one you who has to go and write the exam. It is the one you who is going to appear for the personality test. So we will help you, we will mold you, we will coach you, yes, of course. And there will be some good mentors, there will be some seniors, and there will be some toppers from our institute who will act as mentors, and they'll come and they'll share their strategies. That's it. Next one is institute charging higher fees, having a high quality. Institutes which charge very less fees is having a very low quality. How many of you are thinking like this? Oh, many. So you think that the institute which charge more fees, higher fees, they are having high quality, and which is charging very less, they are having a low quality. If you're having in that kind of idea, my dear friend, I want to tell you, here again, I want to clear your myths. It is not like that. It is not like that. Yes, of course, institutes which is charging higher fees, for various reasons they are charging higher fees. One is they would have established in the industry for a long time, they would have produced very good results in the past, and they will be having a very good infrastructure, and they'll be engaging some senior resource persons, and they'll be providing you so many study materials, and they'll be issuing you the NCERT textbooks. They may be issuing you study hall facilities, and maybe for extra facilities they may charge you higher fees. But the institutes, there are some institutes which is charging very less fees. It doesn't mean that they are providing very low quality. uh, there are many good institutes even in Tamil Nadu. There are some good individuals. They are really good, providing a very good coaching, and they are charging very minimal amount. And the only thing is they will become expert. They'll be handling only one subject or two subjects. So in case if you're going to join in the coaching institute where you're going to make more payment, there you can get everything under one umbrella. But if you are going to make the payment in a very smaller level in the small institute, at least for one or two subjects, I'm sure definitely you'll be having a good quality teacher and good quality content. So this is what I want to tell you. So my dear friends, here the next one is, yeah. Yeah, have to go to Delhi for preparation? No, it is not required. Once upon a time it was true, but now it is not true. Whatever the facilities which are available in Delhi, now it is available in Chennai. The best faculties are available, best resource materials are available, best mentors are available, best teachers are available, and everything is available. Even in case if you're not able to get some good materials, you can just order the book through online. Everything is available in those time and all. When we were preparing, we have to travel to Delhi to purchase the books. Otherwise we have to just send someone from Delhi, from Chennai, to purchase books, and we will pay the amount to that person who is traveling, travel cost, everything. He'll purchase the books. We have to go to the railway station. We will wait for some time and we will collect the books. But now that is not the case. Now you can order the book by sitting at your home. You can study everything through online. So it is not required to go to Delhi. If someone is going to Delhi, it means you are more rich and more affordable. And I won't say that it is not it is that much required things. It is not required. Maybe one time or two times you can go and visit and you can see what it is happening there. Then after that you can come back and you can study at your hometown. And definitely it is not advisable as of now. The climate is not that much good in Delhi, and your accommodation cost will be more high, and you won't feel like home, and you won't feel like good even the language is a very big problem in Delhi. Again, if you're from south especially, definitely you'll be facing so many problems. So all these things you can avoid. The food also will not be that much good. So why do you want to go and stay and you have to burn yourself? So it is better to stay in Chennai. Many students are clearing by sitting in the Chennai. So go to Delhi and visit once, see how the Delhi market is there, how the coaching institutes are functioning, what are the materials are available. Once if you're going there, you will come to know how you should change your strategy. Then you can sit at your home and you can study. How to study GS in same institute where optional are taught. It is not like that. You can study wherever you want. See, there are as I mentioned earlier, there are some good individuals are there in each and every city. They are popular only for the optional. They are popular for only one GS paper. So you can also choose as you wish. So this is what I want to tell you. But in the most popular coaching institutes, always we used to engage best resource persons for all the subjects. In case if the faculties are not available, better we don't even deal with that particular optional. As of now, the Kingmakers IAS Academy is offering for 6 subjects: history, political science, economics, Tamil literature, and sociology, geography. See, these are the major optional subjects which we are providing. Last year we included anthropology also. So these are the 7 subjects which we are handling in Kingmakers IAS Academy. But for other subjects also, many inquiries are coming, but since because we don't find a good resource persons, we don't engage. So this is the reason why we are not handling the other optional subject. But doesn't mean that in other institute they are not handling that subject. You can always go there. You can join GS in Kingmakers IAS Institute, because when we started this institute with only one motto: by IAS for IAS, India's #1 institute for the GS preparation. We can always challenge this year mains question also. We can always challenge with our GS question paper. It is available in our app. You can download it. You can just compare our mains GS question papers when the question paper it is going to be released in the month of September, October in 2020. You can always compare. I can assure you that more than 60 or 70% of the topics or the questions would have directly appeared from our test paper. So our R&D team members, they are working like anything, and they are preparing questions on par with the UPSC. So one can always depend on the coaching institute for the GS paper, but it should be more and most popular institute. Otherwise, it is very difficult. So you should always get the correct information to your senior students. They are the right person to give you the best feedback. Next, the online classes will not help like offline classes. It is not like that. Online classes also will help you, but there are some issues in the online classes. Of course, there will be some difficulties, and both advantage and disadvantages both are there in the offline as well as online classes, and whichever is more comfortable to you, better you can choose it. It is not that like only the person, if only if you are going to join in the offline class you can crack this examination. It is not like that. Even through online program you can attend and you can get all the informations, and you can prepare on your own, and you can study, you can save your money, you can save your journey time. Many things are there. Even now the world is traveling towards online classes, and even we have moved into the online classes. Today we are going to start a batch today. So this is what I want to tell you about this exam. So my dear friends, here again I want to tell you one thing. See, uh, prelims is most difficult stage. Yes, of course. So in another 5 minutes, I want to finish the session because we are having one more session. So prelims is the most difficult stage. Many people they used to say that the prelims is the most difficult stage. Yes, of course, compared to mains and personality test, the prelims is the most difficult stage, because out of 10 lakh students only 15,000 are going to be selected. So 1 is to 13 or 1 is to 15 maximum, 1 is to 12 or 1 is to 13, something like that they are selecting every year. So the prelims is the most difficult stage. So one should be very careful, because you cannot predict the questions, you cannot write whatever you think. You have to choose the right answers. And 50 to 60%, even the toppers, they used to Tina Dabi, she was selected in the prelims examination because of just 0.5. Otherwise she would have failed in the prelims exam itself, but she was a topper in the final merit list. So you have to be very careful. The prelims is the most difficult stage. Yes, of course, it's a very difficult stage. So if you are going to be really well prepared for your mains examination, I'm sure definitely prelims is not the most difficult stage. If you're going to focus only for the prelims, prelims is the most difficult stage. So you should be very clear with that. One cannot clear in first attempt. No, one can clear in the first attempt. I've seen many candidates, they have cleared in their first attempt. See, first of all, you should know what are all the probabilities that one can clear in their first attempt, and what are all the probabilities one cannot clear in their first attempt. What are all the probabilities that one can clear in the first attempt? First, you should have the proper study materials. First, you should have the proper mentor. You should have the proper time management, and you should have the proper study plan, and you should write all the tests very seriously, and you should assess always your performance, and you should always monitor your accuracy level, and you should try to know what is the total number of questions one can attend, and what should be your strategy for your prelims, what should be your strategy for your mains, and what should be your strategy for your personality test. If you are aware about all these things, I'm sure definitely you can clear in your first attempt. But if you are not having the writing practice, if you are preparing only for prelims in the first attempt, if you're not prepared with the optional for you in your first attempt, if you're not prepared for your, if you're not aiming for your personality test in your first attempt, because many aspirants, they used to prepare only for the prelims in their first attempt. They don't even imagine that they want to appear for the personality test. See, always you have to target the final thing, then only you can reach your first and second stage. So always target your first final thing, that is your personality test. Easily you will clear in your first attempt. I've seen many students, for example, in our first batch, Kartika, she cleared in her first attempt. Right now, she's deputy commissioner in the income tax department. She cleared in her first attempt. Even last year, Ponmani, she cleared in her first attempt. Now she's undergoing training in the IPS academy. Then the Pratap IAS, who already I have mentioned about him, he got All India 21st rank and he became the Tamil Nadu topper also. He cleared in his first. There are many individuals. I can quote many examples. Every year, more than 100, 200 candidates, they are clearing their first attempt. It is not that much difficult examination, how many people say. So it is, yes, of course, it is a difficult examination. There is no doubt, but it is not that you cannot crack in your first attempt. Definitely, you can clear. People knowing English and Hindi has an edge over others. No, it is not like that. Only one advantage they have, that knowledge. That is very important. See, even in the period of 4 years, they would have accumulated very less knowledge. But in a period of 4 months or 5 months, you would have accumulated more knowledge than the seniors. So don't worry about the number of attempts on senior candidates and all. The next one is the final myths. Just let me show you the next slide. Have to adopt all the strategies of the toppers and use no. You can just listen to their strategy. You can own. You can just use your own strategy. Already I have mentioned about this. Always you should have your own strategy, not the all the strategy of the toppers. Okay, everybody will be having their own strategy, so you should have your own strategy. That is very important. How to write more to get more marks in mains? No, it is not like that. You should always stick to the word limit, whatever it is given in the exam. So don't write more, whatever. It is not the exam to write whatever you know. It is the exam to write what it is asked. So you have to be very strict, and you should understand the questions, then you have to write the answers. Don't deviate from the questions. And how to use color pens in writing? See, don't use too many pens. Try to avoid it. Always use only one pen. And of course, you can use the diagram and flow charts, other things and all, but try to avoid some symbols and other things and all that will lead to some confusions. So don't use different pen for the different pages. One pen is more than enough, and with the same pen, just always black or blue, always you can use it. And always I will suggest you to use the ink pen. Try to practice while you are taking the notes. Try to use the ink pen. That will help you uh, what to say, your handwriting will be more legible compared to other candidates. How to be fluent in English? See, languages, even I'm not speaking that much good English. See, when you are going to be when you're going to talk to many people, naturally you will develop your skill sets. Even I studied in Tamil medium. Today I'm able to communicate. See, the only thing is whether are you able to understand or not. That is a language. See, language is nothing but you should be able to communicate your thoughts. I'm able to communicate my ideas and thoughts. That's enough. So I believe that I'm able to communicate. I'm sure definitely you people can easily understand what I'm talking. So this is the language. So don't worry about all those things. You read a lot, and before you read a lot, first you listen to the many people. When you are going to increase your listening skills, I'm sure definitely you can speak very good language. So just read a lot and listen a lot. And other thing, one is, if I'm not able to clear in my first or to a second attempt, shall I quit from the civil service preparation? Shall I look for some other thing? No, it is not like that. I've seen many candidates, they have cleared in their fourth or fifth attempt. So don't quit till you exhaust all your attempts. Please make sure that you are attempting all your attempts, but make sure that parallelly you are having some other a job. After your fourth attempt, better you can look for third attempt, better you can look for some other alternative job. But don't give up your preparation. That is very important, because whatever the hard work you have put in for more than 3 to 4 years, that should not go waste. I'm sure definitely when you're going to be in the same field, I'm sure definitely you'll achieve. This is the exam which will test your coolness. So whether how calm you are, how patient you are, how dedicated you are, all these things are going to be tested. So not only knowledge, so don't worry about that. So only young ones will be preferred, not those fail again and again. No, it is not like that. I know one guy who cleared in his last attempt. That time he was running around 35 years, so he was not able to clear in his previous attempts. He was we used to call him as Muhammad Ghazni. His name is Mogan, and currently he is serving as a joint secretary in the Karnataka government. Just you can Google and you can just talk to him also. He cleared in his last attempt. So don't worry about all those things. He was around 35 years. He was awarded with the IAS. So these are all the popular myths. So it's not that only young one will be preferred and old one will not be preferred. It's not like that. But if you're going to enter to your earliest stage, it is the biggest advantage, because you'll be reaching to the level of cabinet secretary. Your promotions will be very good, and you can explore the different opportunities in the government of India service. So that is the biggest advantage when you're going to join in the government of India service. at the earlier stage. So at least when you are going to start your journey, if you are in the graduation, start your journey immediately. If you are doing your +2, start your journey immediately. If you are doing your schooling before below 10th standard or something like that, no, don't do that. Better you try to focus on your school books, the books which you are going to study in your for your school days. That will help you for your civil service preparation. Concentrate more on that. Only thing is you try to develop your personality. Once you become a topper in CSE, that is enough. This is about the civil services. After becoming a civil servant, people, they used to think that now I have achieved everything in the world. Now everything is under my control. They used to think that they are the what to say, great personality of this country or something like that. Yes, of course, you are a unique personality, there's no doubt, but it is an exam, that's it. You cleared an exam, that's it. And it all depend upon how you are going to perform after entering into the service. There are many IAS and IPS and IFS IRS officers in our country. More than a lakh people are working in our country as a civil servants. So but very few people are known to everyone. It all depends on how you are going to serve for this country. Now we quoted few examples of IAS officers like Prakash IAS and Bila Rajesh IAS, and many people we quoted, and Vijay Karthikeyan IAS. These are all popular personalities as of now. How? Because they are all unique in their implementation. So in their policy making, see, they're all assisting to the government like anything. See, this is how you can be different. So it is not like that. So clearing the examination, it is not the one which will give you the ultimate happiness, but when you are making others are very happy, that will ultimately give you very happiness. Can earn a lot of money, power, prestige in this job. If you're having this kind of idea, please don't come for this preparation, because you'll be having very less salary when you're going to become an IAS officer. Hardly you'll be left out with the 65,000 rupees salary when you are going to join the service. Slowly your salary will be increased, and salary is concerned, I'm sure definitely you should not go behind this kind of things. If you're very particular about the money, please don't opt for the civil services. And power, yes, of course, you are having a limited power, and of course there is a limitations. You're having a enormous power, there is a limitations for each and everything, and there are some superiors who will be watching you and who will be giving you, who will be controlling you, and you cannot exercise power which is not laid out in the constitution. So whatever it is there in the constitution, you can just execute everything. So for only for the welfare of the public, and you cannot misuse the power, you cannot do anything. So with the power which is assigned to you, you can do some good job for the public, that's it. And prestige in this job, yes, of course, people will respect you, that is there, but you should not come for this preparation only for the prestige, power, money, or attraction, something like that. It will be automatically everything, it will be there, but you should not come for this field only for this purpose. Then you will not have this happiness at your end. So it is better, always you should like this journey, you should enjoy reading, you should what to say, you should feel happy when you're going to see the happiness in the other's face. See, these are the things which you can expect from the job. There is an influence in merit list. No, it is not an influence in the merit list, the final myth. uh, Nobody can influence. Even if you're the daughter and son of prime minister, you cannot influence in the UPSC examination. It is a very strict and very confidential exam, so nobody can influence. So it is strictly based on the merit list. So don't worry about this. Next one is, honest cannot survive in this job. Anyway, they'll be under trap, or they'll become corrupt. Many people, they used to think like this. So how many of you are thinking like this? So others, you do agree that you can be very honest, right? Okay, good. So many people think that they can be very honest, and very few people, they think that they'll be influenced by the politicians and other things. Good, good positive vibration it is there in the group. Yes, of course, friends, there will be some challenges there will be some opportunities to become corrupt, as well as there will be some challenges when you are going to be very honest. But when you're going to be very honest, everybody will come to know that you are such a very honest person. They will never come to you with the wrong intention. They will not try to corrupt you. So it is all your approach. The people will understand your attitude. They will understand about your behavior. They will understand your expectation, everything. So it all how you are going to interact with the other members. So I'm sure definitely you can be very honest. I know many people, they are all surviving today. Already I have quoted few examples, and they're all doing a very good job. So it is not that you cannot survive in the job without corruption. Definitely you can survive. You can be very good officer also. Cannot do anything good for people under political pressure, no, certainly not. Yes, of course there will be some political pressure, but it is not that you have to always listen to them. There are many good civil servant. There are many good politicians. Always don't look the politicians always they are corrupt. You should always the positive attitude also. There are good politicians also, and they'll not interfere. Always they'll give you some freedom, because they want some good officer also. Then only they can also get a good name among the public. So they will always encourage some good officer. If you're a good officer, always you can get the good support from the politician. The bad politician will approach the bad bureaucrats. Good politician will approach the good bureaucrats. So this is what it is happening in my experience. I have seen with the most of the aspirants. So these are all the things which I have cleared. I hope this session would have cleared all your major doubts about this civil service examination. If you're having any questions, please ask. If you feel that this session was really useful to you, please give your feedback. And in the comment box comments, just you can share your comments. And there is a polls. Just you can also give your feedback about the session, and what is your expectation. All those things you can share. And what are the other topics you are expecting in this session, that also you can just ask me. Yeah, questions. Let me see the questions. Yeah, sir, how to find toppers answer sheet in your app? uh, okay, we will upload. I think we have not uploaded the toppers answer sheet. We will upload it. Then after that I will inform you, then you can download it. Thank you. Thank you so much. Many good appreciation. Thank you so much. And one question it has been asked by Katha Lakshmi: what is the difference between the static portion, dynamic portions? I'll explain you in detail in the next session. Yeah, yeah. Thank you. This is a very useful session, sir. During the quarantine period, it is a motivational boost of this free webinar, sir. It was really an awareness for us about many things, sir. Sir, you are very honest and you are very clear. And oh, thank you. Good. Thank you very much for your appreciation. Yeah, yeah, many more appreciations are there. Thank you so much for your what to say, our appreciation and your sincere participation. Let us see in the next webinar. And till the time, bye bye, and take care and stay safe, and create some awareness about the COVID-19. Try to help for the poor people in and around you. It is not that after becoming a civil servant you should start helping the poor. Even now you can start doing that. Wish you all the best. Thank you so much.